Hello guys, we're Ichimi Talks, and we're gonna be discussing Whiskey Peak today.
Yo, let's
Yes,
fucking
sir.
go!
Starting off, they're setting sail in the Grand Line, and we could see that the weather here is very cold, and the crew's having fun. At least Luffy's building a snowman. Everyone else is kind of freezing, but
Almost like it's snowing.
yeah, it is snowing.
But then immediately we could see a thunderstorm roll up. So it's a bit of an introduction to the Grand Line as how like all over the place it is. And then literally a few seconds after it clears up like nothing happened.
Yeah, and then there you see the island that they finally set sail at. Their first island, setting sail on the Grand Line.
Yep, Whiskey Peak, which is a huge island with a bunch of cactuses on it.
Yep.
Huge cactuses.
Yeah, and you could see we have the two bandits they had from the Laboon arc. They said thank you, and they literally just jump off the boat, and they just swim to the island.
Yeah.
And,
Mr. Nine.
No, oh,
But we
you're
won't get
getting
to that
ahead of
yet.
yourself. Yeah, it's Miss Wednesday and Mr. Nine.
Yeah.
Get it right.
Look, you're spoiling the viewers.
I'm spoiling everyone. My bad.
Anyways, the crew arrives to Whiskey Peak, and you could see all the townsfolk. They're all celebrating to welcome the pirates, and this is a very strange interaction because the crew were not expecting this huge welcoming, but this
Yeah.
town just seemed to love pirates, and they welcome them, and you know they're all being super nice and generous. And you
Yeah.
can see the mayor approaches them, and he's introducing this island as a musician island, I believe.
Yep. And ale brewing as well.
That's right.
Yep. And yeah, he like insta brings them to like the bar, and before we know it, it's the sun goes down on Whiskey Peak. It's a nice panel as well.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, everyone is just getting drunk.
Yeah,
Everyone's
they're just
drinking.
partying, like celebrating, getting drunk, having a good time. All the characters are doing their own thing. You know, you got Luffy eating everything, Nami enjoying herself. You've got Zoro and Usopp, you know, all the crew.
And everyone's just like enjoying life.
Yeah, you got Sanji flirting with 20 girls at once.
Yeah, and then we cut Zoro, like he's already had enough. He drank too much. Nami's at her limit. Luffy's at his limit. He's on the ground, ate too much.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the page, everyone is literally passed out. And the next page, yeah, it's everyone's passed out. And then we see the true intentions of the mayor and his actual identity, which is Mr. 8. So
That's right.
we see his relation to Miss Wednesday and Mr. 9. And we see his partner in crime, Miss Monday, the sister. And yeah, we see what they're planning to do with the pirates. And they see Luffy's bounty, which is 30 million. They're going crazy because they're bounty hunters.
Yeah, we find out that this whole island is island full of bounty hunters working for this organization.
Yeah. And yeah, then we cut Zoro. We cut to Zoro. He was never really drunk and blacked out. He says a true swordsman never drinks himself to a stupor.
Something
Never
like
heard that
that.
word.
Basically, he's always aware of his surroundings. He's never gonna like just put his guard down, no matter where he's at.
And he seems to know already the organization that these bounty hunters are from, and that's
Mainly
because
because they offered him like a position in their organization, but he turned them down. So
yeah, back in the day, when he
Yeah.
was still a pirate hunter. Yeah, and Baroque Works, their whole thing is to not like nothing is to be known about them. So as soon as they hear Zoro say this, they're trying to kill him. Everyone's trying to take his life.
Yep, all 100 of them. And Zoro seems to be in a good mood because he hasn't been in a fight in a while. So he's going to test his 3 new swords that we got, and he's going to take on 100 at once.
Yeah, and it's light work for Zoro. Nobody's really threatening him. He does get caught with a punch from Miss Wednesday, who is like buff as hell.
Yeah.
And yeah, he gets hit by that. But as soon as she picks him up, you can really tell, you know, who's still stronger in this.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
Uh-huh.
Zoro really showing off his swordsman skills in this arc over here. He really goes all out.
even his non-swordsman skill when he just grabs her head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that really
Zoro
was sick.
he just fucks them all up, alright? Like Zoro's just built different.
Yeah.
That's true.
And this is the first we see of Miss Wednesday's kind of pet, Karu, the duck. You know, nothing much going on. And then at this point, Zoro almost gets caught by Miss Wednesday, almost gets defeated because of this little like hypnosis thing.
Yeah, that's right.
But then after that, he makes light work of the 3 remaining Baroque Works members.
Yeah, all of them show kind of like their little fighting techniques, but Zoro's, you know, kind of having trouble to dodge them and maneuver with them, but he makes his way around all of it.
Yep. And this is when we're introduced to Mr. Five and Miss Valentine, other members of Baroque Works who had just arrived.
Yep.
And they've been sent here by the leader of Baroque Works for a certain reason, which we'll get to in a second.
Yeah, for what we know, he's just mysterious. No one knows his identity. He's, you know, very powerful.
Yep. And then Mr. Five says that their whole organization motto is mystery. They don't even know each other's identities, not
Yep.
even their partner's identities.
That's why they go
So-
by code names.
And that's how you know it's bad, because the reason they're actually there is because someone knows the identity of the leader
Yep.
of Baroque Works. So they got sent here to get rid of him. And we learned that that the people that know do they say it's Mr. Zero yet?
do.
They reveal that the
They
lower
do
the
reveal
number,
like it's Mr. Zero.
yeah, they reveal also like the closest to the number 0 is how close you are to the boss's level. That's
Yeah.
almost like a given, you know, power scaling.
Hello,
Yeah, so
Sir
the
Chris.
people
Would you like
that
to
know-
add on to what we were talking about?
No, I don't have much to say honestly about this. Sorry.
You have nothing to say.
I mean, I'm trying to remember.
Why the
honestly.
fuck are you here then? Get out of here.
Hey man, you don't even mean.
Nah, like if you're just sitting there, not saying anything, like not talking with us about it, like get this
Well,
guy out of here.
Well,
he ain't,
I
he ain't gonna
mean-
be in this episode.
I mean, I'm trying to think. I don't.
I'm trying to think. Alright, we're getting off topic now. Like let's just continue.
Dude,
about this guy.
I was explaining it, dude.
Yeah.
You don't gotta worry.
Continue.
Alright,
Yeah,
I'll
so
say stuff if I need to say stuff.
shut up.
yeah, so we learned that the people that know of Mr. Zero's true identity are people from the kingdom of Alabasta. And a little bit later, a couple pages later, we see who those people are. It's Miss Wednesday and Mr. 8. They
Yep.
are, yeah, and Miss Wednesday turns out to be Nofutari Vivi, which is the princess of Alabasta, and Mr. 8 is kind of like her servant. I forget his exact title. And yeah, so basically Mr. 5 and Miss Wednesday are there to dispose of the
Miss Wednesday, that's just Miss Valentine.
Yeah, that's right. It's confusing with all these names. But one thing about these two bounty hunters is Mr. Five and Ms. Valentine both have double fruit powers.
Mr. Five having boom boom fruit, and then Miss Valentine having the kilo fruits, which I have no idea what the Japanese names are, and not gonna care enough. They're fodder anyway.
Anyway, she can basically control her weight, so she could basically become weightless, float, and then become super heavy and drop down. And Mr. Five's ability is similar to Bakugo in a way, but not as good. If you guys watch My Hero, but he's an explosive man.
I mean, it's probably better than Bakugo's if you think about it. We
Anything,
don't see it used
anything
as
he
good.
touches like becomes a bomb, basically.
His whole body is explosive, like anything. Which
Yeah.
Bakugo, it was like only his sweat, which is explosive.
The one thing this guy likes to do a lot is pull out a booger and use that as a bomb.
Yeah, use that as a projectile weapon.
Yeah, it's pretty effective.
Yeah, it's pretty disgusting.
But after that,
then-
you know, they're all over here trying to get Vivi and whatnot. And Vivi's asking for Nami's help and
Vivi.
Zoro, and Nami's over here, like, you know, she'll do it, but obviously for a billion berries, because Nami is all about that money, you know. She ain't playing around.
Yeah, Igaram was begging, and he was confused when she asked for a billion berries. Yeah, and yeah, but we all know Nami. We know how she is with
Yeah.
money. It all makes sense in the end. But after that, Igaram says like they could negotiate after, and we get this whole little thing where Zoro owes Nami because she paid for his swords, and she ended up telling him that there was a 300% interest or whatever, even
Yeah,
though he
that's
gave
right.
her his money back.
'Cause Zoro got the swords for free anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He gave her the exact amount that he borrowed from her, but
Yeah, Nami was all
she still
about
wants
that
the
interest rate.
she still wants the interest.
So we see Zoro encounter Mr. Five, and Zoro slices his booger projectile in half, and you know everyone's over here. Who is this guy, right? And Zoro's over here yelling, "I'm gonna slice your boogers in two, like nothing will affect me." And Zoro's basically trying to rescue Vivi because he realizes the situation.
Yeah, and throughout all this, Luffy is finally awake, and he sees all the nice people, which he thought were feeding him and being all welcoming. He sees them all passed out, and he sees Zoro saying that he took care of them, and then
Yeah.
he gets mad. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
it's-
Luffy, like in his mind, he comes to this island, gets fed well, gets treated well, and then he wakes up to see everyone basically on the floor, almost dead, and he talks to one of them. He's like, "Who did this to you?" And they were like, "It's Zoro. It's that guy." And Luffy's over here, you know, super mad, like he's about to fight Zoro to the death.
Kind of funny to be honest, because Luffy actually has intentions of killing Zoro, and he's never like tried to kill any other character that like we've seen.
Yeah, this is a full-on brawl between two Straw Hats for the first time.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's pretty serious for a little
Yeah,
bit.
and in the midst of this fight, Mr. Five and Miss Valentine are trying to figure out why are they fighting, but Luffy and Zoro are so into the fight where they basically ignore everything that the two bounty hunters are trying to do to them, and they just carry on their fight, and Mr. Five and Miss Valentine get caught in the crossfire. And
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they
Beat
get the
up.
shit beat out of them
Yeah.
during
Yeah,
this.
nah, like,
get
like
fodderized.
they're fighting each other, but like them fighting each other, still they somehow like manage to just beat up Mr. Five and Miss Valentine just easily like that.
Yeah, and
They don't
this
give a fuck.
continues. Mr. Five and Miss Valentine, like they continue to try and fight them while they're fighting each other, and then they just put that to the side and take care of both of them
yeah,
easily again.
Yeah, this is why I say they're fodder.
there's a great
Except-
panel where Zoro and Luffy are both telling them to shut up because they're interrupting the fight, and they're both just out of their mind, like scared because of the menacing look they give.
Yeah, and then they take care of them again.
Yeah.
One hit. They're so noisy, they say. Yeah, and yep. So they defeat the main antagonist right here.
Yeah,
and
then they go
they go
back to fighting.
Yeah, they go back to fighting again, but
Yeah.
Nami, being the most powerful Straw Hat, when she's fighting another Straw Hat, she takes care of him easily.
Yeah.
Of Zoro and Luffy.
She knocks some sense into them.
Yeah.
And then Luffy goes back to being happy, and he's like, "Oh, why didn't you tell me that they were actually bad people?"
Yeah, now
Makes
Luffy
us
understood
get
the
even better.
situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's kind
And then we cut to like not Miss Wednesday now, it's Vivi now. We cut to her pretty much
Vivi.
explaining like what Baroque Works is trying to do with her kingdom of Alabasta and how she infiltrated Baroque Works to try and get insight
Yep.
to try and stop them from taking over her kingdom. And she's basically asking the Straw Hats to help her fight against Baroque Works. But then she says that the main guy in Baroque Works, Mr. Zero, who she says his actual name, which is Sir Crocodile, she says nobody in the crew is even a match for him.
Yeah,
So-
she says it on accident without realizing, and then everyone's like, "You just told us that it's
And
a
then
secret."
we have a little fucking otter and a vulture who are like spies for Crocodile. They just overhear the entire conversation, and then they just start leaving.
Yeah, the unluckies. what is it, Mr. 13 and Miss Friday. It makes sense because Friday the 13th, they're unlucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Cool little scheme. And then we see Igaram, but in his true form, his hot form, and he reveals to us that Crocodile had an 80 million berry bounty before he became a warlord, meaning that his bounty could be even higher than that, but he's working with the world government now, so they kind of paused his bounty.
Yeah.
So, and we see like a little like silhouette of Crocodile, which is cool. And he shows us that he has a eternal pose for Alabasta, which an eternal pose always points to the island no matter what.
That's right.
And he leaves off. He leaves to go to Alabasta, leave Vivi with the Straw Hats. But then he
Boom.
bursts into flames.
Boom, boom.
Yeah,
In the
my
middle of the
guy,
ocean.
my guy, he dead.
The what's her name? What, Miss Sunday? Not Miss Sunday.
Miss All
Miss-
Sunday.
Miss
Yeah,
All
Miss All
Sunday.
Yeah, we see
throws
that
him off.
it's Miss All Sunday, and she says he was a decoy for
Yeah.
Vivi and the others. And then out of nowhere, she's just on the ship, on the Straw Hat ship, and this is when we get her true introduction, and with the whole title card and everything, Miss All Sunday. She's the vice president of Broke Works, the second in command, and yeah, she says she killed Igaram, which
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah.
But so they're trying to take care of Nico Robin. We see Usopp and Sanji both aiming guns at her, which is weird because that's the first time we see Sanji use a gun. And
especially aiming it at a girl too.
yeah, and then we see they both get knocked out by nothing. We don't know what they got knocked out by, but the rest of the Straw Hats are presuming it's a devil fruit power, but they still don't know what it is. And then All Sunday, Miss All Sunday, she takes Luffy's hat, and he obviously gets really mad. And she's kind of like playing around with all the people on the ship, kind of like sitting back, relaxing. And she explains to them that the place they're heading to, next in the Grand Line, is Little Garden. And she ends up handing them an eternal pose to Little Garden. And
Yeah.
Luffy, being Luffy, he says she's not deciding where we're going, and then he breaks the eternal pose, which is true to his character, you could say.
Yeah.
And yep, that's when we get a little sneak peek of Little Garden, and that's the end of Whiskey Peak.
Yo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty good arc, I'd say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a nice, refreshing arc. Better than I remember reading it or watching it the first time a few years ago, to be honest.
Yeah.
I remember watching this arc.
Shut up, you
like-
didn't say anything.
I'm gonna say stuff now. I remember when I binged it and this arc came, like I was just so like in it that like I'm pretty sure I kept watching, like I'm pretty sure I watched like over 100 episodes in a day. I don't know how I did it.
That's not even possible.
Dude, I
It's
watched too
legit
much.
not
I watched-
possible to
it's
watch
not-
100
It's
episodes
not-
in a
It's
day.
not. It's not even possible. I'm being.
It's not.
I'm over exaggerating how much episodes I watched, but I finished this arc very quickly, like in the
Yeah.
anime. And then I
Looking
got to the
back
next
on
arc.
it, obviously, most people that watch One Piece, they'll be Zoro fans, and this is all you can ask for as a Zoro
Yeah,
fan.
it's really good. So good.
Yep, and that's it.
Alright, guys, we'll see you again in the next arc for Little Garden.
Yeah.
Yep.